Hello and welcome to Nation Talks. It's a Metamorphs initiative and I'm Preeti Prakash. To tell you a little bit about Metamorphs, Metamorphs is a non-profit organization conceived and fostered by 10 veterans committed to nation building, restoring social values in society, nurturing lost glory of veterans, and thus contributing positively in whichever ways they can. Do visit www.metamorphs.org for more about it. Today we'll talk about the not so much delved territory of Andaman and Nicobar, a place that is of tremendous strategic importance in the changing global order, particularly when the Indian Ocean is the region that, as very rightly said by Admiral Mahan, whoever controls Indian Ocean dominates Asia. This ocean is the key to 7 seas in the 21st century. He goes on to say the destiny of the world would be decided in these waters.
Jai.
Thank you.
So my first question to Colonel Dr. Athavale, the islands which were at some point of time, maybe today also they're called 𝘀𝗲𝗄𝗃 because of the Britishers. What more is there to know about them?
Thank you for the introduction and thank you Metamorphes for getting us on this show. The Andaman and Nicobar archipelago is actually an uplift of the mountain range. It is in the Indian Ocean in the Bay of Bengal, and it is actually an extension of the Arakan mountain range, which comes down from the Burmese or the Myanmarese territory and flows downwards towards Sumatra and the Indonesian archipelago. Andaman Nicobar Islands, most of them are hilly in nature because they are actually the tops of the mountains coming up from the sea. The islands, as per the history goes, have been in habitation right since the Paleolithic age or the Middle Paleolithic age, if I'm not wrong. And the recorded history goes down to about 2,200 years of habitation on the islands. There are about 7 known tribes which habit the islands. 4 of them are in the Andaman group of islands and 3 of them belong to the Nicobar group of islands. The 2 names, of course, have got a history of their own as to how they came about. I will not go into various myths and mythology about these islands. But suffice to say that over the years, over the centuries, when traders, when people, right from the days of the Cholas, who actually had an axe to grind with the Indonesian Hindu rulers at that time, they used to use the Andaman Nicobar Islands as staging posts for their naval forces when they were going and campaigning towards Indonesia. After that, when the Britishers or the coloniers came in, I would say, it was the Danish people from Denmark who were the first people who came in sometime around 1750s. And these people brought with them a different culture, different kind of civilizational institutions there. Of course, they used the port, the various bays and ports of the islands for trading purposes, for holding purposes for some time. It was only much later in the 1800s that the Britishers decided to form colonies in that place. And that is how the penal colony, which came up in the 1858, gave the name to the islands of 𝘀𝗲𝗄𝗃 or the penal colony. And that is when the famous cellular jail, which is there at Port Blair, came up. The name Port Blair actually has come from Lieutenant Blair, who was a British naval captain, whose ship had initially floundered there, but then he came back to establish the base there. And that is how the name came to be Port Blair. Coming a little more towards closer history, when the World War II happened and the Japanese conquest actually occupied these islands from the Britishers, it was the Indian National Army under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose, which actually came in and established a picket, a kind of a headquarters at the Andaman Islands, and that became the first independent Indian occupation of land. The first tricolor was actually unfurled at Port Blair in the year 1944 by Subhash Chandra Bose. The occupation lasted for just about a year and a half. When the Britishers managed to push back the Japanese and recapture the island or retake the island from the Japanese people. Of course, in 1947 on independence, the Britishers decided to give these islands back to the Indians as part and parcel of India as a country. And that is how the islands have come to us. The islands are rich in flora and fauna. The islands have mangroves and tropical rainforests with rich wood timber capabilities there. A lot of fishing areas. Suffices to say, the potential of the beaches, the potential of the jungles, the potential of the land of these islands is huge. And I'm sure we would be talking more of that as we go ahead.
Why this thing was never developed as a military base by the British? There is a very, very specific reason, and I think it is important to know for people to know it. Initially, the British wanted to go make it a military base, and they sent an engineers major. The first person who went to the island was engineers major, who was wanting to, who was tasked to establish a military base there. They did not pursue it, and then what Varame said, why? Because at that point in time, Indian Ocean had become a virtual British lake. So they did not require the geostrategic potential of these islands to be utilized in any military manner. That was probably the reason why it was not developed in the manner it should have been. Yeah.
Coming to Commander Chakrapani, if we were to take the naval perspective in mind, why are these islands so important to India, particularly in the context of Indo-Pacific? Now the Indian Ocean is quite a very strategically important place, and also the looming hegemonistic Chinese aspirations.
First and foremost, thank you very much, Preeti. Thank you very much, Metamorphes, for having me on the show. It is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be here. Now, coming down to the Andaman Nicobar Islands, don't forget it was the Chinese and the Chinese thinkers who call it the metal chain, primarily because it can choke the Chinese as far as their shipping is concerned. So if you pull the chain, the curvature which is there will ensure nothing can pass through. So that's why they were called the metal chain. Now let's get down to this thing. If you look at the map of the Andaman Nicobar Islands, you will find that the Andaman Nicobar Islands extend virtually across the Indian Ocean region, which is of great interest. Don't forget, almost 100,000 ships pass through the Malacca Straits on an annual basis. 40% of the world's oil gets transported from here. Over 90% of Chinese trade goes through the Malacca Straits. And who controls the Malacca Straits? Anyone who is sitting in an island called the Campbell Bay or the Great Nicobar Island. That is just 60 kilometers off the Malacca Straits, the entrance to the 6-degree channel. China is looking to build a canal across the 𝘃𝗹𝗂𝗃 of Thailand. And if that comes up, it will be like the Suez Canal or the other canals that are there, and will reduce the time taken for China to move from the Gulf of the South China Sea into the Andaman Sea, and thereon through the 10-degree channel. Who's sitting on top of this place? The Andaman Nicobar Islands with Port Blair. If you have to move any shipping from Myanmar or Bangladesh towards Sumatra or Malaysia, you have to cross the Andaman Sea, and again you're back to the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Therefore, the importance of the Andaman Nicobar Islands. The Andaman Sea is home to approximately 12 lakh tons of fish. 10 lakh tons of fish in these waters die of old age on an annual basis. Therefore, this is a very rich fishing ground. The economy is an important part. The fishing is where China uses its fishing fleet to become a part of the monitoring system by which it ensures that it can keep a watch on what is happening around. Chinese survey ships have also been found in this area. Okay, so that's one major part of when you look at the Andaman Nicobar Islands and the way they control all shipping out here. They will be able to stop shipping or make it very difficult to do so. Now, Anuj was very right when he said Port Blair was never a part of the strategy of the Britishers, because the entire region was theirs. They didn't have to really worry about. They were sitting in Singapore on one side and Colombo on the other.
Yeah.
Therefore, it didn't matter. But today, each of them are independent countries. Therefore comes the importance of the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Here we have 3 unsinkable aircraft carriers. There are a number of airfields that have come up in this region, and we have the airfield right on top, which is at 𝘃𝗿𝗂𝗀. We have an airfield in Port Blair. We have one in 𝘃𝗹𝗂𝗀 Nicobar, and one coming up, which is already there at Campbell Bay, but it's going to get bigger. All of these airfields can today land a Poseidon aircraft out here. And Port Blair, Andaman, the airfield at 𝘃𝗹𝗂𝗀, at Campbell Bay are capable of also launching jets of the kind of a Mirage 2000 or a Su-30 MKI. Now you have that situation where very close to 𝘃𝗿𝗂𝗲 Island, we have the Chinese who are sitting to monitor, and we have an airfield there at 𝘃𝗿𝗂𝗀. China trying to look at 𝘃𝗹𝗂𝗀, and we have Port Blair and 𝘃𝗃 Nicobar. China looking at this 6-degree channel, and we have INS bars or the Campbell Bay airfield, very close to the 6-degree channel. Therefore, you can imagine an unsinkable aircraft carrier in this place is a great idea. If Andaman Nicobar were the staging places, staging ports for the Cholas, they are the staging ports for India today. Whether it was aid to natural disasters or a likelihood of the Andaman, especially the Great Nicobar Island, playing the role of the headquarters for Quad at some moment in time, but we'll come to that in a moment.
Yeah. For my viewers, if you have any views about what Colonel Ram Athavale and Commander Chakrapani and even General Major Anuj, to whom we'll go later, you have any feedback to give, or you have your suggestions to make, do comment in our comment section on the website, and we'll get back to you. And now getting back to Major General Anuj, how will you see the strategic and economic aspect of and potentials of the island?
The importance of this region, as A.T. Mahan's quote you have already said, comes because it is Indian Ocean region. The Indian Ocean region houses 2.7 billion population. It houses 1/3 of the literal countries of the world. 1 point. Second, it constitutes a great barrier for eastern seaboard of the country, a strategic military outpost. 2. 3, it constitutes only 0.2% of India's landmass, but it has 30% of India's exclusive economic zone, which is colossal. Just imagine if these islands were not with us, we would have been shot by 30% of our exclusive economic zone. Plus, we would have had anybody and everybody would have had a free run to the eastern seaboard of the nation. Fourth point is that this place was a part, as Ram had said, Arakan Yomas. It could easily have been given to the Burmese, but it was not. That made all the difference. However, one small point I would like to bring out, that 𝘃𝗿𝗂𝗀 Island, not 𝘃𝗁𝗃 is Niche, 𝘃𝗃𝗂𝗀 Island, which was for some reason not claimed by us, but had we taken that 𝘃𝗂𝗀 Islands also, it would have added a tremendous amount of both EEZ and strategic importance to the thing. Second point is, it is second in the sense, this was a set of points, and now second issue that we said, it is a strategic military outpost where, as Chakrapani was trying to say, 3 unsinkable aircraft carriers. I would say it is 4 unsinkable aircraft carriers from north to south, including the 𝘃𝗃 Nicobar. That's the main base. Second point, you have a tri-services kind of presence there, which has now been formally placed under a tri-services command. Imagine thinking the importance, geostrategic importance of that area. Importance was always there, but in the yesteryears, we failed to leverage that importance. Economics, he has covered a lot, but I would just say that EEZ gives us tremendous amount of scope. It has gas, it has the energy sources, it has potential for seabed mining and the works. fourth important issue which comes directly, it's straight away from the economic point of view, is the tourism potential. Unbelievable tourism potential these islands provide you, provided you develop them and do something. One reason which comes to my mind, why earlier we did not think in terms of converting this into a strategic outpost, because the India was perceived as a benign and a benevolent power. And there was a school of thought in the Foreign Affairs Ministry saying that in case we develop it into a geostrategic outpost or a military projection point, that perception might change of the smaller countries in the South Asian region, Bangladesh or Myanmar or even Sri Lanka. So that probably now, since 2014, this perception has shifted. And we have realized, both at the level of the government of India and also at the level of the military think tank, that these are important and they need to be developed. But not only as a strategic military outpost, but as an overall economic package.
Okay, thank you to all my panelists, and it was a great discussion. To my viewers, don't forget liking, sharing, subscribing, and pressing the bell icon below for more videos like this. And you can always write in to us and in the comment section if you would like to see some more issues being discussed with us, and we'll get the panel to you. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind,
Jai
Jai
Hind.
Hind.